So the question really isn't, can I afford to invest in marketing? It's actually, can I afford to not invest in marketing? Because that initial question of, can I invest in marketing? That assumes that the cost of not doing so is free, and it isn't. The cost of inaction. Why doing nothing is the most expensive marketing decision you'll make all year. There's a number running in every home service business right now that almost nobody calculates. It's the cost of inaction, or the cost of doing nothing. I'm Alex Wells. I'm the founder of Imprint Digital, located in Loveland, Colorado. And I've been working in the marketing industry for about 15 years. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about something that a lot of people forget, which is the cost of doing nothing at all. Sometimes when people reach out, or maybe they're currently marketing, they're thinking a lot about marketing as an expense, which makes sense. When you're looking at your P&L each month and you're trying to calculate all of your expenses, usually your marketing cost is going to show up in there somewhere. But the truth is that you really have to reframe your thinking. You need to understand that marketing is not an expense, it's an investment. And today, I'm going to break down this concept for you so that you can easily understand what it is I'm talking about. I'm going to break down the calculation of actually figuring out what this is. What is that cost of inaction? I'm going to give you the exact formula and information in order to figure out what that cost is for your business. Grab a pen. The math is simple, and the cost is probably a lot more than you think. Doing nothing isn't free. It's just billed differently. Before we do the math, I want to fix the framing a little bit, because if we don't, then the math won't make much sense. Most owners I talk to, they think about marketing as a cost, a line item, something you pay for and just hope it works. Fair. A lot of you may not understand that each day is an opportunity, and every day that you're not marketing, somebody else is. Marketing is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you'll lose the strength behind your business. You need to make sure that you're exercising this muscle consistently, because just like a muscle, if you consistently market well, your business will naturally grow from it. Some of you may have been burned before, and there are bad marketing services out there. Or maybe you've tried to run marketing yourself and didn't see any luck. And if you've been in those scenarios before, it might be hard to realize what I'm talking about. But I need you to reframe how you think of this a little bit, because the truth is that you have to market your business. The cost of doing nothing can get really expensive. But here's the trap. If marketing is a cost, then doing nothing is free, and that can't be further from the truth. Sitting still might feel disciplined. Every month you don't spend, it might feel like a win. It's not. Marketing is not a cost. It's the only tool that you have to help you avoid another cost, the cost of inaction. And the reason the cost feels invisible is because nobody invoices you for it. This is something you would actually have to do yourself. This isn't something that you're typically going to see show up as an invoice. You're gonna have to take the time to break this down. You're gonna have to take the time to truly understand what I'm talking about. And in this video, I'm gonna make that simple for you. So let's fix that today. Let's start invoicing for it. The inaction tax formula. 3 numbers, that's all you need. Number 1, your average ticket. What does a typical job pay you? For most HVAC companies, that number is gonna range from $400 to $1,800 per job. For roofers, it's much more. Number 2, your close rate. Of the leads that come in, how many of those do you typically close? If you don't track those numbers, let's use 40% today. That's a pretty decent closing rate, and it's around the average that you typically see in sales. This is gonna be close enough for what we're doing today. And number 3, the uncomfortable one. How many leads are you actually missing because you're not showing up or marketing your business? Here's how you estimate it. The top 3 results in any home service category within a specific market are usually going to be pulling anywhere from 20 to 120 calls per month. That's not a guess. That's just what page 1 is worth on Google. If you're not in the top 3 results in one of those specific markets, you're not getting those calls. Your competitor is. Pick a conservative number today. Let's say it's 60. We're gonna multiply them. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to that average ticket cost that we talked about earlier. We're gonna go to the high end. We're gonna do $1,800. Now we're gonna take your closing ratio, or your closing percentage that we talked about. That was 40%. You're gonna multiply those numbers together, and now you're gonna multiply that by 60. In this scenario, that's $19,200 per month that you're losing. That's your inaction tax. And it doesn't show up on the P&L, which is exactly why it's so dangerous. And it's one of the biggest areas where companies lose money. And ultimately, it's one of the biggest reasons why you're not seeing the growth that you're looking for. Because here's the reality. I was just talking to another business about this recently. And what I try to explain to people is, if you aren't doing good marketing each and every day and somebody else is, you are losing momentum, you're losing progress. And this is devastating for your business. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're just always testing out marketing. You're hopping from this situation to this situation. You're going from this budget to this budget, and you're making changes too often in what you've committed to. Because one of the biggest things that's going to help your business grow and avoid this inaction tax is to commit. You need to commit to a good partner. You need to commit to somebody that has the experience, that has a good reputation, and can back the service that they provide. By doing that and making that commitment, you are in a position where you can actually test something out. You can actually get something going. And you want to work with somebody that understands this process. So here's what I always explain to people. If you have been burned before, maybe you've tried ads, maybe you've tried marketing. One of the things that you should consider is, are they incentivized to get you to spend? Because typically home service-based businesses are pretty competitive when it comes to ad spend and overall marketing. And there's a reason for that. Because home service businesses, they need marketing. They need leads, they need sales. And so it gets really, really competitive because it actually works. So if you're in an industry that's competitive, think about that for a second. Why is it competitive? And if you're thinking to yourself that, oh, it's just because people just have a bunch of money to spend, that is just so false. That is completely incorrect, and you have miscalculated your inaction tax. Because what's going on here is those industries have recognized the value. They've recognized the value of commitment, they've recognized the value that it can bring to their business, and so they have chosen to be consistent with that strategy. You should do the same. And so we always try to explain to people, hey, what we need to do is we need to set a committed, comfortable budget. We need to get you into a position where you've made that commitment yourself. And by making that commitment, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be strategic with that budget that's available. We're not gonna just jump into the water and start playing with all the sharks and spending as much money as possible. What we're gonna do is we're going to take a calculated measure to understand where we should target, how we can leverage that budget, to get you confidence behind the marketing strategy. You need some confidence. You need to be able to see that it's actually working. And if you can start to get that confidence, that commitment that you made, you're going to stick to it. And you're going to be starting to think about, how can I reinvest into marketing rather than increase my expenses? Why next month costs more? Here's a part that most people miss that should make you very uncomfortable. $19,000 a month in potential sales isn't really $19,000, because while you're sitting still, your competitors aren't. So what happens is the following month, that $19,000 is even harder to reach. And that compounds, it builds over time. And so that potential $19,000 that was available for you is now even harder to reach the next month, and then the next month, and the next month. And it becomes even harder and harder and harder every month that you sit on the sidelines. Every month that they're in the top 3 and you aren't, they're getting more jobs, they're getting more reviews, and those things build up to get them more jobs and more reviews. And here's another thing, the way that ads actually work, which most people have no clue about, is the fact that you have to actually have data to send to Google in order for optimization to be effective, for your marketer to be in a good position to be able to calculate and make good decisions. And so also what you start to see happening is, it's not, hey, I'm gonna turn my ads on or I'm gonna turn my marketing on and all these leads are just gonna start coming through. You're not sending any data to Google either. And that's a big problem, because that is optimization opportunity. What's happening is you're actually missing the opportunity itself to be able to improve the efficiency of the marketing as well. Because that $19,000 that's achievable, if you're actually marketing, could start to turn into $21,000 and $25,000 and $30,000. And it keeps going up if you're actually marketing. So that investment that you're making into marketing itself and avoiding the cost of inaction, it actually becomes more profitable because you're marketing as well. And so you really have to understand what I'm talking about. Expenses or investment. It is an investment. And next month gets more expensive because you're sitting on the sideline. And you're also missing that opportunity of that potential $19,000 that we talked about. What this actually means is your inaction tax is not actually flat. It's ratcheting. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse every single month. This is one of the most deadly costs in business. It's worse than your material costs, than your labor costs, than almost every single cost in your business. Month 1, you're paying $19,000. Month 12, this cost has actually built your competition a moat around you being able to gain market share. And now, catching up costs you 2 to 3 times more than it did today. Marketing has a strange property that most owners don't think about. The price of being early is small. The price of being late is large. Every month you wait, the bill for catching up gets bigger. Not because we say so, because Google says so. And unfortunately, even the best marketers will tell you, we are prisoner to Google. We are prisoner to Meta. We are prisoner to these platforms. And that's okay. You can be a good prisoner. You can actually figure out how to use those tools. And a lot of good marketers have spent the time and investment in order to ensure that they understand how to use these tools. The 30-second diagnostic test. Don't take my word for any of this. Here's a 30-second test. You can run it on your phone while I'm still talking. Step 1, open an incognito tab on your Google Chrome browser. That strips out your personal search history and all the cookies that are being stored on your device. And if that's a little over your head, it's okay. Basically what's going on your device is it's analyzing all your search history and the things that you're doing on a daily basis. And so if you don't go incognito, it's gonna take that bias into account. And so what you're going to see when you search is probably not going to be accurate from the typical user. So this step is important. Step 2, search your top service plus your city. As an example, let's do AC repair, Denver, or roof replacement, Phoenix. Whatever the job is that really pays your bills, what's the top type of job that you can get for your business? And in most of the home service world, it's usually going to be a replacement of some sort. I know a lot of you home service business owners are looking for replacement jobs over repair jobs typically. And so let's search that way. Step 3, let's look at the top results on the search page when you do that test. We're gonna look at the top 3 local results on ads, and we're gonna look at the top results on organic. This is in the non-paid section of the search results page. So take a look, you're gonna see some results that show up with ad next to it, okay? And then underneath that, you're typically going to see your Google Maps section. Businesses located near you, wherever you're searching for. And then underneath that, you're gonna see your organic search results. Let's look at all of those. If your business is not in any of those, then you're paying that cost of inaction tax. Today, right now, as you're watching this video, you are spending money on something that you think you're saving money on. It's like a timer. It is just adding up. As you're sitting here watching this video, you are losing money. It's like having holes in a bucket. You try to fill that bucket with water and there's holes in it, and you're just seeing all the water leak out. That is happening as you're watching this video to your business. And that's the diagnostic. Run that diagnostic today, right now, as quickly as possible. You need to understand what your cost of inaction tax is for your business, because next week is going to be more expensive than today. So the question really isn't, can I afford to invest in marketing? It's actually, can I afford to not invest in marketing? Because that initial question of, can I invest in marketing? That assumes that the cost of not doing so is free, and it isn't. And the rule that I'll give you is this. If a marketing investment costs less per month than what your inaction tax would be, and it's actually pointed at the search terms that turned searches into booked jobs, not vanity traffic, not blog posts, it's not an expense, it's a recovery. If you ran those numbers as you were watching this video, or maybe you do it tonight, later on today, whatever that might be, and that number bothered you, well then stay tuned for more content from Imprint Digital. Take the time to go ahead and subscribe to this video, hit the bell icon so that you can see more of our future videos, and reach out to us anytime. This isn't a pitch, this isn't a sale, we're just happy to help you. So if you run those numbers and there's anything we can ever do to help, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We'd be happy to help.